Applying Bloom's Taxonomy, understanding Bloom's Taxonomy application to curriculum writing. When you create a brand new course or write a lesson plan, you begin with a specific goal in mind. You identify learning outcomes, which your learners will learn, then you determine what constitutes the evidence of learning and how it will be assessed. Finally, you determine how the learning will happen. You create instructional activities and plan learning experiences. This is a famous triangle used to demonstrate the concept of alignment in curriculum design. You've probably seen it before. It shows the reciprocal relationship between the learning outcomes, learning assessment, and instruction. One should not exist without the other. Learning outcomes inform what the evidence of learning will be and how the learning will be assessed. Assessment should directly align with the outcomes of learning and how the learning is happening and what instructional materials are utilized. Finally, everything related to the instructional domain, what learning materials are selected, and how new knowledge is represented, should directly relate to the stated outcomes as well as how the learning will be then assessed. Revised in 2001, Bloom's taxonomy is a classification tool that is widely used these days. It's also known as taxonomy for teaching, learning, and assessment. Bloom's taxonomy will help you develop statements of learning outcomes which are observable and measurable and consistent in structure. Let's look at the structure of a learning outcome statement, also known as a learning objective. A learning objective statement consists of a verb, an action, and an object, usually a noun, indicating what will be learned, what skill or knowledge will be acquired. The verb generally refers to the intended cognitive process, and Bloom's taxonomy can help us identify an appropriate level and determine this verb. The object generally describes the knowledge students are expected to acquire or construct. Next, we will take a look at the cognitive processes dimension. Cognitive processes dimension is a continuum of increasing cognitive complexity, from remember to create. Very often such progression is represented as a pyramid. Bloom's taxonomy is a progression of cognitive processes from more basic fundamental level of remembering to more complex levels of synthesis and integration of knowledge to create a new product. The categories in a taxonomy are remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. The revised Bloom's taxonomy is more than just a flat pyramid representing lettering cognitive processes. There's a second dimension to it, the knowledge dimension. The knowledge dimension represents a range from concrete factual knowledge to abstract metacognitive knowledge. And metacognitive knowledge here can be defined as the knowledge and understanding of your own learning. The other two types of knowledge are procedural and conceptual knowledge. So, more accurately, the taxonomy can be represented along the x and y axis, just like in a table. Then, your learning objective can be represented as a cell in that table, in the intersection of the verb, the cognitive process, or in our case, a column, and the type of knowledge, in our case, a row. Let's take a look at a specific example. Summarize features of a new product. This learning objective will fall under lower cognitive process of understanding and under the factual type of knowledge, as the learner will need to know the concrete facts about the product, in our case, specific features of a product. Finally, what will be important to remember as you develop your curriculum and write learning objectives is always start with a verb. Some verbs might cross over between the categories of cognitive processes, and if you conduct a Google search, you can find tables with over 200 verbs in the Bloom's taxonomy. Here's just a few examples. Under remember, we have such verbs as define, find, locate, highlight, and match. Understand level, we'll have summarize, categorize, paraphrase, etc. Under apply level, we will have complete, solve, implement, articulate. Under analyze, we will have relate, conclude, categorize, Under evaluate level, we will have such verbs as defend, appraise, criticize. And under create, we will have develop, write, solve, design, and modify.